Hey everyone, welcome to Princess K. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with Beastly. This is a donation reward for Smurf, and I know very little about this movie. Like, I remember this coming out, and I remember hearing about it, I think in the, late 2000s, I want to say. Um, but I never was interested in checking it out. So this is going to be interesting to me. I know that it is a riff on Beauty and the Beast. I don't know in what way. I don't know exactly how it takes it. But I know that it is a riff. And I've seen what the characters look like before, but I don't remember for the life of me. So I know something about it, but not a lot. I don't even know when this takes place. Presumably modern day. I would assume so. But yeah, so I guess I'll just give my thoughts on just, I guess, the Beauty and the Beast trope in general. Because this has been a trope in various things. Obviously it started with the original Beauty and the Beast story that eventually gained a lot more mainstream popularity thanks to the Disney movie. And it's been used in various things, the entire kind of idea of someone who's beastly, or even in the case of someone who's like unconventional to some degree, falling in love with someone who's, you know, more conventional, for lack of a better way to put it. Basically, like, imagine like like this big, gruff, hairy pro wrestler falling in love with an average, small, glasses-wearing girl from a community college. Like, imagine something like that. It's like this kind of trope has been done even outside of just the direct referencing before. And that's usually the kind of thing how it's done. It's like very different worlds kind of connecting, where one side is seen as a lot more gruff, aggressive. You get the idea. While the other side is usually seen as more demure or just average, I would say. So I'm wondering exactly how far they're going to take this trope and exactly what they're going to do with this. I don't know what to expect. I do like the Disney movie Beauty and the Beast. I think I read the original story once, I think, but it's hard to say. If I did, I don't remember too much of the differences between that and the Disney version, though obviously there are some. I remember the differences between the Little Mermaid better. Like how in the original book, the mermaid, who I don't believe was named Ariel in the book, I think that was a Disney thing, did not get the prince in the end, died in the end, turning to sea foam and everything. And it's like, it was a lot darker, but a lot of the fairy tales were, let's be honest, Disney-fied them. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what this is like, even though it would not have been on my list. Like, I would not have probably even thought about it, but I do remember it. I do remember it was a thing. I don't know, I have no fucking clue what people thought of it, so I don't have any context there going in, but I'm definitely interested to see what we have in store for this. And funny enough, I'm recording this, you're seeing this on Sunday, but I'm recording this on Friday, the same day I recorded the first episode of Dragon Prince, so it's like, it's a day for Smurf, apparently, because Dragon Prince is his donation series as well, so it's just, that's funny to me. But either way, let's just get this going. Hope for the best. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the movie. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I wanted to look up some stuff for this. And first off, there was an alternate ending to this, apparently. According to this, an alternate ending was filmed where Lindy gets kidnapped by the drug dealer. So that did come back into play instead of him just getting arrested. And Kyle gets shot while in the process of saving her. As he lies injured in her arms, she confesses her love to him, breaking the curse in a fashion more closely based on the book that this is based off of. This was based off a book, by the way. And the original Beauty and the Beast story. Because, you know, the Beast gets injured thanks to Gaston and everything. And he is in her arms when she confesses her love and everything. Yeah, we get the idea. The ending was not used in the official release, but it was used in the official video game, because apparently there was a fucking video game for the Wii? Like, what the fuck? Why would this get a video game? I don't understand. Of all the things to make a video game of, it's like this? Why? I don't understand at all. But another thing I found interesting is this. A number of reviewers criticized that Kyle did not look genuinely ugly in his quote-unquote beast form, and could even be regarded as more attractive, thereby compromising the film's moral about inner beauty shining through physical ugliness. I am so fucking, like, excited and happy, weirdly so, about the fact that I'm not the only one who thought that. Like, I genuinely don't understand. Like, okay. Calm down. Breathe. I don't understand what they were going for here. Like, they could have done so much better and so much more to get the point across, to get the idea across. Like, with the original Disney movie, he turned into this literal giant furry monster. He's this bestial animal. And, like, I get that. But here it's just like he has tattoos, some scarring, like some silver and shit in his face. It looks like piercings and all. It's like he's not unattractive. You didn't make him ugly. Like, I get he would find himself ugly because he was so exceptionally vain that even just shaving his hair in general, he would probably find himself ugly. Like, that, I get that. But the idea that other people would see him as ugly, and the idea that he'd be this afraid of that kind of idea, it's like, and again, they took it way too far. And again, from a viewer perspective, as a viewer watching this, we're supposed to think he's unattractive too. That's the point. We're supposed to think he's ugly, but we don't. And again, I'm clearly not the only one. He's not unattractive. I wouldn't go as far to say he looks better necessarily in his beast form, but he's not unattractive at all. I would date someone who looks like that. Why not? I think this kind of goes into the vain idea that tattoos and piercings and stuff are supposed to be seen as unattractive or stuff like that. I was going to say unprofessional, but that doesn't really apply here, necessarily. But you get the idea, that they're supposed to be seen as unattractive and undesirable. And there are a lot of people who hold that belief. There are. And I've never understood that. It's never made sense to me. And honestly, there's a lot of reasons it can be kind of insulting. There are a lot of cultures around the world who have facial tattoos and stuff, and just tattoos in general, as part of their culture, as part of their beliefs and ideals and stuff. And there are people who just like tattoos, and there's nothing wrong with that. the idea that tattoos make someone ugly is just a really fucking stupid idea. And honestly, this came out in 2011. Even by that point, it was outdated. Even by that time, that idea was super outdated. Like, what the fuck? And it's like, the movie obviously makes this big deal about how she sees through the unattractive outer shell to see his inner beauty and everything. And it's like, he doesn't look ugly, though. But moving on from all of that, because I could rant about that forever, and it just amount to being a circular argument the entire time. I'd just be going on and on about how he just doesn't look ugly. There were some cringy aspects to this movie. There were some things that were just cringy and weird and off for various reasons. But overall, I thought it was actually rather enjoyable. I think the pacing was fine. I think it was what I kind of expected. As a modern retelling of Beauty and the Beast, with the exception of obviously the design of his beast form, I thought it worked. Like, there were some aspects that I don't think were necessary, like the entire drug deal thing. Especially since it clearly didn't go anywhere. I actually think the alternate ending might have made more sense in that regard. Like, I feel like that would have actually made that have a point to it, instead of just feeling kind of randomly thrown in. But the romance between them, I feel, developed naturally. The side characters were very enjoyable. And Mary-Kate as the witch, as Kendra, I thought she did a great job. I thought she was surprisingly engaging as the witch. And just like in The Beauty and the Beast, it's like, the witch is not the bad guy here. The witch is not the villain. The villain is the Beast. The villain is Prince Adam, or in this case, Kyle. It's like, that's the point. Although, in Beauty and the Beast, you also have Gaston, but you know what I mean. In terms of the Beast and the witch. The witch was never the villain. So, yeah. I thought the acting performances were fine. A little cheesy, but, I mean, I've seen High School Musical and stuff like that. I said during the reaction, I thought that kind of, like, was feeling a little bit like a Disney Channel movie, and I said both in good and bad ways. The bad ways obviously being the cringy stuff, but the good ways being in terms of, you know, the feel of it. I've seen a lot of Disney Channel original movies, and kind of the pinnacle of those for me has always been High School Musical. And this honestly felt like High School Musical to me. It gave off those same kind of vibes. And not just because Vanessa Hudgens is in it. Though admittedly her character in this did feel similar to Gabriella in High School Musical. But it's not just because of her. It's just the vibes of the writing and everything kind of gave me that similar style to it. And that's a good thing. Was it cheesy and hokey? Oh, goddamn right it was. But a lot of these movies are, and I kind of expect it to be. I'm not gonna go into this movie, a movie that's a modern retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and expect it to not be cheesy and hokey. Like, you kidding me? Of course it's gonna be. Cheesy and hokey is not necessarily bad. It can be very well done and very sweet. A lot of people are just afraid of genuine, nice cheesiness. They're afraid, they think everything has to be super serious all the time and not goofy and fun. Like, oh, you're writing a romance? It has to be super serious. It has to be, like, emotionally investing in this strong story about love persevering or some shit. I don't know. I'm just making shit up as I go. But you get the idea. I had to make up kind of shit I'm saying because I don't think like that. Because I enjoy cheese. And not just the food. Although I do very much enjoy the food. I love cheesy dialogue. I love cheesy stories and romances. Schmaltz is fine. Because it's fun and it's light and it's airy and nice. And is it clearly, like, not entirely realistic? Yeah. But that's fine too. There's plenty of movies people watch and don't expect to be realistic at all. You ever see anything in the MCU? Anything? Literally anything. People do not talk like they do in movies. I'll tell you that much. That is one major thing. And anytime you see a movie where people do talk like actual people, everyone criticizes it because they feel it doesn't sound right, ironically. Even though it sounds the most natural out of all of it. But yeah, I had no problem with the cheesiness here. I thought the actors did a good job. I thought everyone was fine. My only real issue with the story and everything is the fact that everything was kind of reverted at the end. Because, like I said during the reaction, Shrek did this right. I guess spoilers for the first Shrek movie if you somehow haven't seen the first Shrek movie at this point. It's way past the statute of limitations for spoilers, but still, just skip a couple minutes ahead if you haven't seen it somehow and don't want to be spoiled. In the first Shrek movie, the big thing is that Fiona and Shrek are forming a relationship. It's a love story between them. Shrek, who is an ogre, and Fiona, who is a princess, who is cursed to become an ogre after dark. Well, when they declare their love for each other and wed, the true love's kiss is supposed to return her to her true form. But instead, it turns her to an ogre permanently. And she realizes that this is the form she's meant to take. The form of her true love and the form that truly is who she is. Even though she's initially and originally human, she, in her heart, in her just character and everything, this is who she is and who she's meant to be as she has fallen in love with Shrek and everything. It's actually a really, really wonderful moment. Because the idea of, like, ogres being ugly and unattractive is an idea that's brought up in the movie. And so having the ending, having her become an ogre permanently and having that be kind of the lesson, they find love and find acceptance of themselves and each other through each other and through their love, while not fixing the problem, is groundbreaking, honestly. And Shrek 2 kind of tackles the subject again with Shrek choosing whether to become human or remain an ogre and everything. The Shrek movies actually really got this right. They really got this right. And, like, I criticize the Shrek movies for a number of reasons, but that is one thing I will always praise them for. And so many movies, like, are so afraid to do that. So many movies that tackle this kind of subject are so afraid to let the subjects of these curses or whatever else remain cursed. but realize that it's not actually a curse and that it helped them find themselves and be better people and find love. I think it would have been a much more impactful if he had remained a beast. Quote unquote, because again, not actually unattractive, but had come to love himself because of what being in that form gave him. Not only turning him into a better person and starting to care about others, but finding love. That would have been much more impactful and much better. It would have been a much bigger deal and would have felt more satisfying. By turning him back, by having him return to his pretty self, it makes it feel like it's just for the reward of becoming pretty again. It's just for the reward of returning to that life that you had, that attractiveness that you had. It feels a lot more artificial that way. And it bothers me. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to improve yourself. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be attractive. There's nothing wrong with wanting to dress to impress or to look your best or whatnot. There's nothing wrong with that. But I really like how the Shrek movies handled this and showed that you don't need to return to your previous self for this to be a success. I kind of feel like it would have been better if he did run out of time and he wasn't able to get it in time, but still found something better because of it. And also magically fixing like the other two's problems as well at the end felt a little unnecessary. Like, I understand that he asked Kendra to do that because he genuinely cared about them and wanted to see them happy. But one, why couldn't Neil Patrick Harris's character have been happy while still blind? Like, yeah, I mean, it probably is great for him to be able to see again, but still. He's clearly been able to live just fine while blind. He's able to do things just as well as anyone else, just without the ability to see. Granted, the one woman's problems, I don't remember her name, I'm sorry, but her issue with wanting her kids there, it's like, okay, that one I can give you, because that's something that you can't really just live with, because it's her kids, you know? She wants them to be able to be free and be with their mother. She hasn't seen them in 5 years, she said. That one I can at least a little bit understand. But it's like with the blind one, it's just a little weird to me. Because it makes it almost seem like having a handicap is just, it makes you lesser. That's what it kind of comes across to me like as. And speaking as someone with handicaps, even if they're not so much physical as they are emotional and mental and all of that, like with my autism and whatnot, it's like, yeah, it's a detriment to a degree. But it's not something that I necessarily want fixed. I mean, the idea is known as being a bad concept within the autism community. Everyone hates it. Hates all the people that are trying to say, like, oh, autistic people need to be fixed and all. That's a horrible idea. We don't want that. We just want to be understood, and we want to be able to be, you know, treated properly and helped properly without, like, you know, people thinking that we're the worst thing ever. Looking down on handicapped people and seeing them as being wholly negative for being handicapped is bad. It's not a good way to view things at all. So it's like, I don't know, it just felt like really kind of ableist in that regard. And those issues didn't like take away my enjoyment of the movie as a whole. Because again, I still enjoyed the schmaltz and the fun, and I very much doubt those issues were intended. I very much doubt it. But at the same time, it did unfortunately come to feel like that at points. It's not the best movie I've seen by any means. I wouldn't even say it's as good as High School Musical, but it's not bad. And it sucks because apparently this movie received mostly negative reviews, like a 21% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, average rating of 3.7 out of 10, and it's like, it says fundamentally misguided, poorly written, and badly acted. It's like, it really wasn't that poorly written or badly acted. The acting and writing was fine. And misguided, I would even argue on that. The intention was fine. The intention was great. It wasn't bad. And apparently someone specifically said it's like right on the cusp of the so bad it's good Hall of Fame. It's not bad, though. Again, there are some issues. There are some problems. But it's not bad. I think people, a lot of times, especially critics, are just way too overly critical. They go into movies overanalyzing every single little goddamn thing. And because of it, they don't just enjoy the movie for what it is. That's why I have an issue with a lot of critics. And I have an issue with a lot of people who just blindly follow what critics say and just blindly parrot the same shit. And that's a shit ton of people who do that. They have no minds of their own and just, like, force themselves to think like critics and force themselves to believe what the critics say, even before they've seen the movie. Too many people listen to critical reviews just to determine if they even want to see the movie. It's like, watch the movie based on if you want to see it and form your own judgments on it. If you don't like it, that's fine. You're allowed to not like something. But don't just parrot critics. And for those critics out there, don't just go into it expecting to analyze every little thing. I hate when critics do that. They go into a movie. I've heard of some people who go into a movie, some critics, who bring a notepad, no fucking joke, to take notes while watching the movie. I fucking hate that. Because you're not enjoying the movie then. You're literally watching it for the sake of critiquing it. For the sake of judging it. You're not going to see it for what it actually is. You're just going to be nitpicking every little detail and finding things to complain about. You're going to be actively looking for anything you can find to complain about. Again, though, this is something I could rant on forever. It's like, I've always had this issue with critics and stuff, and it bothers me. Because people just refuse to actually watch a movie for entertainment these days. Everything has to be critical. And I've seen so many critics completely miss the point on so many movies, especially like satires. They act like they're supposed to be serious movies when they're literally parodying things. And it's like, I just, ugh. It's like you missed the entire point. And again, if critics don't like this movie, if random viewers don't like this movie, that's fine. You're allowed to not like it. But I feel like a lot of these people probably did go into it really expecting to judge it. And just didn't give it a chance. Give it a fair chance. That's why I always try to go into these reactions, whether a donation reward or not. I always go into them saying to you guys and myself, I'm going to judge this on its own merits. I'm going to give this a shot. Even if it's something I wouldn't have been interested in, I'm going to see. I'm going to be fair and give it a chance and judge it based on what it is and what it gives me. If I don't like it, I don't like it. If I do, I do. But I'm not going to be watching and looking and trying to search and scan every scene and every moment and every bit of dialogue to find something to bitch about. If I have issues, they'll come naturally. And this is why I tend to like a lot more movies than a lot of critics and a lot of people out there. Why there's honestly not as many movies that I actively dislike or hate. I tend to enjoy a lot of movies that people do hate on. Because I don't go in to critique them. I go in to just enjoy the movie as it is. And this movie was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. I'd give it, I don't know, 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 is good. Could be better, maybe even upwards of a 7.5. I wouldn't put anything above a 7.5, but 7 to 7.5, somewhere in that range. I think it's deserving of that. But to give it like a 3.7, it's like, no, fuck that. It's not that bad. If you find it that bad based on just your genuine thoughts on the movie, then okay. But I don't agree, and I don't have to agree. That's my opinion, and I'm entitled to that. But I feel like I'm rambling. I feel like I'm just rambling and ranting on things again. And I apologize for that, but it's just, this movie has its issues. I've pointed out my issues with it. Do I think the issues destroy the movie? No. Do I think that they're just more than likely unintentional missteps? Yeah, pretty much. Do I think the movie still has a lot of fun and enjoyability to offer as a viewing experience? Definitely. I think the actors did a good job. I think the general story is good. I liked it. So, yeah. There are a couple missteps, but I think they were more accidental than anything. So I'm good with it. They knock it down a little bit, but not enough to say I hate it or even feel mad on it. It's still good. But I would love to hear your thoughts. So tell me in the comments below, what did you think of Beastly? Did you find him not at all unattractive like I did after the fact? Let me know. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.